Hi everyone, in this video I am going to be talking about verbs, the different types of verbs and how verbs can be classified according to their meaning, formation and use, how verbs should agree with the subjects, meaning and forms of some verbs which are confusing, and I will try to simplify it as much as I can. In simple terms, verbs are words that refer to an action, happening or state. I am working on some of the exercises which have been provided by Nagaland Board of School Education, but as I went through it, there are many mistakes. That is why I have made a separate PowerPoint which I'll be using it. Actually, the one which they've provided, I have it, but the thing is, it's not good enough because there are so many grammatical errors there, and I have used a different one. So let's try and see how we can look at. So verbs are words that refer to an action, happening or state of being. So basically, action, that's the most important thing. I mean, for beginners, basically, in simple term, verbs refer to an action, happening or state of being. Let's look at this first exercise. Lanu and her friends dash at work on the field. Now I've bolded all the correct answers so that I can talk more about it. Lanu and her friends. The verb here is are, at work on the field. So the subject, Lanu and her friends. We have Lanu and her friends. So this is plural. So that means the verb also has to be plural. The verb has to agree with the subject here. So Lanu and her friends are. Are is plural here. Are at work on the field. So are is the correct answer. Either the chief minister or the chief secretary dash presiding over the meeting. So looking at the first exercise and the second one, we have the chief minister and also the chief secretary. However, in instances like this, we have to use singular verb. The reason is, in two subjects, for example, like two subjects, the chief minister and the chief secretary, when two subjects are joined with either or, neither nor, or we use singular verb. So either the chief minister or the chief secretary is presiding over the meeting. It should be is. We cannot use are here. So remember, either or, neither nor, and also the word or. If we use or, it should be singular verb. So here is. The education committee dash once a month. So here, if we look at British English and American English, Americans will use meet, because committees. The education committee meet once a month. Americans will use that. But since we're using British English, most British writers, they will go with meet. Why? Because committee is already it's a group, and it comes under plural noun. So British writers, they will go with meet. For example, Barcelona are a big club. That's what British writers will say. American writers, they will write Barcelona is a big club. British writers, Barcelona are a big club. Either way, meet as well as meet, both are correct, and no person can say meet is wrong, meet is right, or meet is right, meet is wrong. No. Meet, both are correct, and you can use anyone. Each of the player her turn at batting. Each of the player in the worksheet which has been provided by the NBSE, it is written each of the players. Remember, we cannot use players here. It has to be player, because here this is singular. Each of the player takes her turn at batting. Remember, player takes. Takes is singular, take is plural. Remember, in a noun we mostly add s to make it plural, but in a verb we add s to make it singular, and we avoid using s to make it plural. So it's the opposite of plural noun and singular noun. A basket of apples was on the table. It's was here because the emphasis or the focus is on a basket, so it has to be was. Elizabeth and Daniel doesn't see eye to eye. Don't and doesn't. Remember, don't is a contraction of do not, and doesn't is a contraction of does not. In most cases, don't is used in a sentence while giving command. Don't do that. Don't eat that. Don't steal. So remember, it's mostly with command. Here, Elizabeth and Daniel, the correct answer will be doesn't see eye to eye. They doesn't see eye to eye. Most of the guests, look at the word guest here. We can see here plural as. So here, most of the guests have arrived. Have is plural, has is singular. Remember that. Has is singular, have is plural. So here, the verb has to agree with the subject, and the subject is plural, hence the verb has to be plural. So here, most of the guests have arrived. Fill in the blanks with the correct subject verb agreement. Let's look at this. I blank that you picked on the wrong person this time. So find a word which comes under filling verb. Remember, we have filling verb, and we have action verb, we have mental verbs, we have state of being verb, possession verb. So here, find an appropriate word which comes under filling verb. So here it will be I am this I'm fearing that you picked on the wrong person this time. I'm fearing. Fearing. I am fearing that you picked on the wrong person this time. The cheesecake delicious. The cheesecake sense verb. So for sense verb, the most appropriate word will be taste. The cheesecake taste delicious. Tastes, taste delicious. Rocco always ready to help people out. Rocco, remember, state of being verb. So instead of being verb, it will be Rocco is always ready to help people out. state of being verb. My landlady dash this field too, possession. Remember, you possessing something. You have your books, you have your dress, those are your possessions. So here the correct possessive verb will be my landlady owns this field too. OWNS, owns this field too. My uncle dash to donate to this charity organization. Mental verb. Here under mental verb, the correct verb will be decided. My uncle decided to donate to this charity organization. My uncle decided. At the rate that my brother is dash, he will outgrow all his clothes. Action verb. The most appropriate verb under action verb will be you can just go with growing. At the rate that my brother is growing, he will soon outgrow all his clothes. The children dash very excited to finally get to watch their heroes in flesh and blood. The children are very excited to finally get to watch their heroes in flesh and blood. The children are very excited. The children are. The children were. Doesn't matter. 8. We dash a peacock dancing in the rain. Sense verb. The most appropriate word will be we saw a peacock dancing in the rain. We saw, SAW. 9. People always dash a lot more leadership from their leaders, especially in a crisis. Mental verb. People. Remember, people is plural. This is not singular. Alright, so here it will be people always expect. Expect will be the verb. Plural verb expect. Singular verb expects. Plural expect. So people always expect a lot more leadership from their leaders, especially in a crisis. Mental verb. Mary Kom dash the title as the most successful boxer in the history of Indian boxing. Possession verb. So what will be it? Mary Kom owns the title as the most successful boxer in the history of Indian boxing. Or we can also write Mary Kom possesses the title. Alright, owns, possesses. Remember, we're talking about only one person, Mary Kom. So the verb has to be singular. So owns, OWNS, you can write owns also. You can also write possesses, which is a singular verb. Either way, it's correct. Change the nouns and adjectives in the bracket, given in the bracket, to verbs. So who has dash you to give out the e-passes? Author. Remember, author is a noun. So with this word, with the noun, we need to change it to a verb. So here, who has authorized you to give out the e-passes? Authorized. Let me just write it down. Who has, because you might be confused with the use of past tense, so let me just write it down for clarity so that you will not be confused. Who has authorized you to give out the e-passes? Authorized. This is the correct word. who has authorized you to give out the e-passes. And here they have dash the report to implicate me. The correct answer will be falsified. Falsified the report to implicate me. They have falsified the report to implicate me. That is the correct answer. And let's look at the third one. Jumani had to dash the length of her dress. So here the correct verb will be shorten, shorten. Jumbeni had to shorten the length of her dress. Let's look at the fourth one. This toothpaste dash the teeth in 2 weeks. This toothpaste, remember, look at the subject, it's very important. Toothpaste, we are talking about only one toothpaste, and this this is singular, these is plural, so we're talking about only one toothpaste. This toothpaste white, so we need to use singular verb. So the singular verb will be whitens, plural whiten, singular whitens. So WHITENS. This toothpaste whitens the teeth in 2 weeks. Let's look at the fifth one. Our hopes to travel to the Far East has dash, and in the bracket we can see material. So the correct word will be materialized. Has plus third form of the verb. Go, went, gone, do, did, done, third form of the verb, or to say past participle. Has materialized. materialized. Has materialized. Our hopes to travel to the Far East has materialized. So that is the correct answer. Moving on. You have to, what is that? You have to dash the water as it is straight from the tap. So the correct verb will be you have to purify. Purify. You have to purify the water as it is straight from the tap. Let's look at this question number 7. When we are thankful, we dash God. The answer will be we glorify God. glorify. When we are thankful, we glorify God. When we are not thankful, we don't glorify God. Yeah, let's move on. My grandmother was dash to undergo a procedure. My grandmother was to hospital. How do we change that? We change it to hospitalized. My grandmother was to hospitalize. HOS hospitalize. My grandmother was to hospitalize to undergo a procedure. Let's look at question number 9. To commemorate our principal's 20 years of teaching career, the school management committee gave him a dash watch. In the bracket we can say personal, so the correct answer will be gave him a personalized watch. So here answer will be personalized, personalized watch. Naro has to dash to her father for her rude response. Nara has to apologize to her father for her rude response. The answer will be apologize. Apologize. Apologize to her father for her rude response. The birds have, remember after have it should always be third form of the verb. So fly, flew, flown. Fly, first form of the verb, second flew, second form, third flown. The birds have, the correct answer will be flown, Flown. The birds have flown from the nest. The children dash on to the father although he was late for work. The children cling. So we have to use the past forms of the verb. So the children cling, clung, clung. The answer will be clung. Clung. Clung on to the father although he was late for work. The flood water crept into the house, so they had to call the sanitation workers. So the correct word will be creep, crept, crept. So the answer is crept, crept, crept. I dash that I was climbing Mount Everest last night. The answer will be I dreamed. 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 The mother held her child close to her heart. The correct answer will be the mother held her child close to her heart. His betrayal felt me deeply hurt. Hurt, past forms of hurt is also hurt. So the answer is hurt. How much did this bouquet of flowers cost you? The correct answer will be did. Remember, did is already past, so we cannot use past again. So very simply, the correct answer will be COST. Cost you, not costed or something like that. There's no such word as costed. It will be just cost. We hear the dog barking in the middle of the night. We heard the dog barking in the middle of the night. Let's look at question number 9. I speak to Temujin last night on the matter, but he did not seem to be convinced by my argument. Speak, spoke, spoken. So past form of the verb, second form, not past participle, the second form, spoke. I spoke to Temujin last night on the matter, but he did not seem to be convinced by my argument. Let's look at question number 10. My parents let me stay out last night as my exams are over now. Let. It will be the same. The past forms of let will be let. Nothing changes. So here the correct answer will be let. So that's about it. um, Remember, in order to understand, you have to be very thorough with agreement of verb with subject. Remember, has is singular, have is plural. The past tense of has is had, and the past tense of have is also had. Remember, has is singular, have is plural. Had can be plural, had can be singular. These are some of the points which you need to keep in mind when we study agreement of verb with subject. So this is it. I hope you've learned something. If you're not so sure about something, feel free to reach out to me anytime. Thank you.